I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, you know, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the Black community?
Yes, I own a yes, I own a Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single
Time has
apology.
expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
What is going on? What is going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hit that like button. We are still alive. We are still alive. Won't even get into it, but you guys know. You guys know. Shout out to Carmen with the $9.99. One more time for the $9.99. Thank you to Ms. Cantrell.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Yeah, yes, Jesse Lee. He asked Hood, ain't that Plaskett lady the one that says, how dare you say we don't care about families in the black community? Yeah, we got her, bro. We finally got her.
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the black community?
And you know the irony of it all, man? This is the peak irony of it all. Just the other day, just a couple of days ago, a famous YouTuber, a very powerful white woman,
Make it stop. Make the hurt stop, please. Like,
she lit black YouTube on fire by making a very basic and obvious, really scientifically verified claim about women in general. And then really she kind of dug the knife in about black women in particular. And now here we are.
It hasn't been my experience personally.
what about the people in your environment?
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the black community, if we're going to be honest.
If we're gonna be honest, Keisha loves criminals. Not only does Keisha love criminals, Keisha's love for criminals will be defended on every YouTube panel throughout the Chitlin circuit. Everybody and all of black YouTube will defend Keisha and her proclivities and all that she is and all that she does. And that's just the way it is. Now, the irony of it all is that had nothing to do with actual, real mainstream politics. That was just panel war, right? And then a couple of days later, something amazing happened in Congress. The government, President Trump right now, he's been leading a gigantic fight against the Democrats. He's waging political war against the Democrats right now on multiple fronts. And I noticed that while Trump was out of office, there seemed to be a lot of black women in political office in one way or another, from state government to federal government, who were not only anti-Trump, but making themselves enemies actively pursuing hostile activities against President Trump. And I know they might actually start to regret that. They might be regretting that now, because as they tell you, as Omar said in The Wire, if you come at the king, you best not miss, y'all. And now we have this whole congressional hearing. They have attempted to remove Plaskett. Actually, the attempt failed, basically because the Republicans had to make a deal to save one of their own guys, because he was, I don't know, he's got some hoes mad at him. Let's put it that way. There's a Republican that got some hoes mad at him. I don't know how good or bad or whatever his real situation is, but he's got some allegations against him. You know, he's got a wife and a girlfriend, allegedly. So you know how that is. But Plaskett was about to get removed from all of her committees because of her love for Jeffrey Epstein. She was tied to Epstein, y'all. Keisha loved criminals, the congressional version.
On a morning of a hearing where the House was questioning Michael Cohen, Plaskett was communicating with Jeffrey Epstein. To be clear, this is years and years after he was convicted in 2008 of soliciting a minor. Plaskett was texting with Epstein that morning.
This is years and years after he was convicted, so it's not like you just couldn't know. And then not only are you a member of the federal government, you're the representative of the Virgin Islands, where Jeffrey is located. Jeffrey is her constituent. That's what makes this extra creepy. There's a lot going on with Plaskett and Jeffrey, and I bet you she wished she'd have just kept her big mouth shut now.
Of the hearing that was aired on C-SPAN, she texted with Epstein. He'll talk about his grades. Epstein responded, "What privilege stands behind the non-release of college transcripts?" He then says, "Great outfit. You look great." All caps. Plaskett replied, "Thanks." It goes on.
You know, we're going to come back to this in a minute. But years ago, when I first discovered Stacey Plaskett, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to show you because it would be improper. But she had her I don't know if it was a sex tape, but she had some of her photos leaked. She took some like naked photos, some selfies. Stacey got some tig-o bitties, y'all. Stacey Plaskett got some tig-o bitties. A lot of dudes would go for Stacey. I'm gonna put it like that. A lot of dudes would have gone for Stacey. But here's my theory. Jeffrey done seen them titties. I have a suspicion. Something tells me Jeffrey done seen them titties, y'all.
At 10:41 a.m., Epstein, ever the weirdo, texts her, "Are you chewing?" Plaskett responds, "Not anymore. Chewing interiors of my mouth. Bad habit from middle school." Then Epstein asks when Plaskett's turn for questioning Cohen will come up. And she replies, "Hours. Go to other meetings." But then we get to the meeting. Then we get to her turn. Then we get to the questioning of Cohen. And Epstein tells her, "Cohen brought up Rona, keeper of secrets." Plaskett doesn't know who Rona is. You don't know who Rona is. And Rona's in all caps. So Plaskett responds at 2:25 p.m., "Rona?" Then she says, "Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym?"
She was actively getting coached by Jeffrey during a hearing where they're actually trying to take down Trump. I think this is the Cohen trial where they was going after like one of Trump's lawyers or something like that. Because, you know, they went after his whole team, basically.
Then finally, Epstein responds, "That's his assistant." Now, listen, this is all of how it played out on Text Exchange. Now I want to show you the video from a C-SPAN airing. These are time-stamped. So is the C-SPAN time-stamping of that congressional hearing. And you'll see Plaskett look down at her phone as these texts come in and change her questioning, including not knowing the last name of Rona, who she ends up asking about to Cohen.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is the Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot.
Time-stamped right there. In that moment, another text from Epstein. What does he tell Plaskett? Good job.
Good job, Keisha. Good job, Keisha. If it wasn't for you, we would question the stereotype. Good job.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
And now all that stuff started coming out. Actually, you know what? Before we go to Plaskett, let me show you something else, because they really did catch her like in real time. It was crazy. They got a NFL breakdown of her behavior at the testimony. Peep this, y'all.
Barack Obama was president of the United States.
They're time stamping. Look, they're time stamping her live testimony. Well, live at the testimonial hearing, at the congressional hearing. 7:41 a.m. Are you chewing? They got her in 4K. This is Congressional Keisha in 4K. Tell me again about that criminal thing.
Driving through a struggling neighborhood in Chicago, he commented that only Black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out.
Got her live, 4K, minute by minute. Quick, I'm up next. Is that an acronym? Imagine being coached live by Epstein, by Jeffrey during a congressional hearing. Like, it's not even like one of Jeffrey's people is talking to you. It's not like it was Ghislaine, right? It's not like she had a text group with Ghislaine, At least there would be one layer of separation. You could be like, I don't even know Jeffrey. I know this one white girl, right? You could have totally had plausible deniability if it was maybe Ghislaine, but no. She's texting directly with Jeffrey. He has her personal number. He doesn't have like her congressional public phone number. You can call their office and leave a nasty message and all that, right? No. He doesn't have her public number. He has the number that rings in her pocket. Like when that phone vibrates, it vibrates right next to her cooch. He makes her cooch vibrate when that phone rings, right? That's how intimate and close the relationship with her and Jeffrey was, right? That phone that's in her front pocket, right next to her crotch, when he calls, that phone vibrates. Her entire groin area vibrates when Jeffrey calls, bro.
The president's campaign, or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today, it was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate, yes or no?
Yes.
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They
and
are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
You got to quickly give us as many names as you can so we can get to them.
Yes, ma'am.
That's Jeff speaking through her. That is Jeffrey. She is channeling Jeffrey right now. The words that she is saying, the questions she are asking, those are Jeffrey's questions. She is executing his strategy to the letter.
As Ms. Rona, what is Ms. Rona's position?
Rona Graff is the Mr. Trump's executive assistant.
And would she be able to corroborate many of the statements that you've made here?
Yes, her office is directly next to his, and she's involved in a lot that went on.
So now that that has all come out to light, we had a hearing the other day. A lot of people in politics wanted to, stand up and defend Miss Plaskett.
I tell you, they may not have done something criminal. Just the fact that they are having email exchanges does not mean that they did something
Yeah, like
criminal.
Larry Summers.
Okay, but I do.
Or Stacey Plaskett.
Yes.
The fact that they're having exchanges with
exactly.
Epstein.
That may not be criminal. I do think it is wrong. And the reason I think it's wrong is because by the time that the emails that we are seeing in this trove that was released are from 2019 and 2018 and 2016. That is way after Epstein had served 13 months in that sweetheart deal in Florida, after he had served 1 year under house arrest, after he had registered as a sex offender. And so these people, a lot of them who are folks that are admired by our society, famous, rich, powerful, in very elite circles in Palm Beach and in New York, were conversing with him and communicating with him.
Now it's first the whole issue was Trump and Jeffrey were buddies, right? Shout out to Doc Thunder in the chat. What's going on, Doc? The first issue was Trump and Jeffrey were buddies, remember? And now that Keisha has been caught texting Jeffrey personally during business hours, like live on the job, live on air. Now that Keisha has been connected to Jeffrey, all of a sudden, everybody had his number now.
And treating him, I mean, people like Deepak Chopra.
Does your concern apply to Stacey Plaskett, member of Congress?
It applies to that. Did you just hear me?
Across the board.
Did you just hear me say?
She should resign.
There you go again. There you go again. Trying to make this into a Democrat.
I think it's very.
She was being programmed.
See, there you go again, trying to drag a woman of color into the business where she don't belong. Scott, she is a woman of color, and you are not allowed to bring her up, Scott. You are not allowed to talk about this woman of color working directly for Jeffrey Epstein.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Member of
It
Congress.
applies to that. Did you just hear me?
Across the board.
Did you just hear me
You
say?
think she should resign? Should
There
she
you go
resign?
again. There you go again. Trying to make this into a Democrat.
I think it's very.
She was being programmed by him after the moment you said we all knew.
It's very hypocritical for you to call.
She was being programmed. All right. She was programmed by her thuggish criminal. I almost want to say boyfriend because I know Jeffrey's seen them titties, y'all. I know Jeffrey's seen them titties.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
Call out the names of only the Democrats, but not apply the very same logic to everyone.
What
who is
Republican
named.
was he programming?
Listen, hold on. You're basically saying if you're named in these documents, I guess you're saying that they should be condemned. Anna is basically saying, let it all out. But you're the only one who's making a carve out for one person, and that's Donald Trump.
There's no evidence that he had any contact with Epstein after he excommunicated him, but we do have evidence that he was programming Democrat members of Congress. Why isn't that a big deal?
Look at Abby's face, y'all. Look at Abby's face. She almost in pain right now. Abby, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Abby? Abby, are you okay? Are you okay, Abby? Abby look like she is hurting right now. Abby look like she is going through it right now. Abby look like she trying to pass a kidney stone right now. Oh my God. Scott. No, but Scott.
It's Donald Trump.
There's no evidence that he had any contact with Epstein after he excommunicated him, but we do have evidence that he was programming Democrat members of Congress. Why isn't that a big deal to you guys?
I guess the point is we just don't know.
We do know that. We absolutely know he was programming Plaskett.
I tell you that
We do know. We have her live in 4K, bro. Not 1K, not 2, not even 3Ks. 4 whole Ks, bro. We got her live in 4K. And they just have to do their best to cover and cape for this whole situation now.
Saying, well,
the whole Democrat establishment is no different from the Chitlin circuit on Black YouTube, bro. The entire Democrat establishment, if you listen to Black YouTube, you will understand how Black politics really move, y'all. That's really, really what's best about this whole thing. It is revealing a lot of my theories, confirming a lot of my personal experience with Black YouTube. Black YouTube is really the heart of Black politics in a way. Not the heart of, but it has the spirit of. Let me put it that way. Black YouTube has the spirit of Black politics, meaning that we will come together. We will form up Voltron to protect the community. And that's what our Black politics boils down to as well. We will come together to defend the community, no matter what she does, because the community is Keisha.
What Black community? It's a Black environment with Black women and Black children in it.
A lot of people seem to not understand me.
Science proves that the Black woman is God. We're not just saying that.
And the Black and Latino women, they manifested themselves out of dark matter energy. All right.
I believe the Black woman is God.
Black woman, God. I don't believe God, no man. I believe God, a Black woman.
The Black woman is God.
But my #1 subject matter is the Black woman is God. That's first and foremost.
Black woman is God.
The Black woman is still God.
You're God, Black woman.
The Black woman is God. She is the creator. She is the sustainer. She is the provider. She is the first teacher of the children. She is everything to the Black race.
But don't get it wrong. I am still a white man's whore.
Shout out to my man Joey with the 199. Don't believe your lying eyes, white man. Hey, don't believe your lying eyes either, Black man.
didn't do anything. There's no indication of criminality. If that's true, he should be elated that we're putting these things out.
If that's true, it is true. Can you name any evidence?
I would like to see the evidence. What I'm saying is,
you think after 10 years of public life, you wouldn't know it already?
No, I don't. That's exactly the point.
Oh my goodness.
Scott,
this is an IQ test. Don't fail it. Come on, man.
Scott,
10 years Donald Trump has been in public life.
Embarrassing.
Scott, it is an IQ test. I mean, for 10 years, we haven't heard any names. So you really...
Now, I want you to notice what just happened, right? Scott called this whole thing an IQ test, right? Do you really think that after all of this time, any connection that Trump had to Epstein would not have been leaked already? I mean, they leak they make up things just to leak it. Remember that whole thing about peeing on a Russian mattress? Remember that? They make up rumors just to leak them. You think if they had any real credible connection to Trump and Epstein, it would not have leaked already? Now, Scott is calling that entire thing an IQ test. And Abby did right away, too. Abby immediately agreed it was an IQ test.
Scott, you keep saying, well, he didn't do anything. There's no indication of criminality. If that's true, he should be elated that we're putting these things out.
If that's true, it is true. Can you name any evidence?
I would like to see the evidence. What I'm saying is...
You think after 10 years of public life, you wouldn't know it already?
No, I don't. That's exactly the point.
Oh, my goodness.
Scott,
this is an IQ test. Don't fail it. Come on, man.
Scott,
10 years Donald Trump has been in public life.
That's embarrassing.
Scott, it is an IQ test. I mean, for 10 years, we haven't heard any names. So you really think that no one's involved?
No, obviously. Larry Summers was involved. Stacey Plaskett was involved. There's all kinds of people involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
If someone was...
Just real quick, I just want to bring it back to something that just happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
That's what
I feel like, You know, this is another thing. The other night, right? The other day, you know, Jess Pearly thing, she went on her famous rant against Black YouTube. And really, she was kind of going at the dudes a lot in Black YouTube, saying, you argue like women, you know, you act like women, you have the spirit of women. And here we are on live TV, a Black man not thinking, but feeling. Not thinking, but feeling. Just like a woman.
Real quick, I just want to bring it back to something that just happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this Black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
That's what you heard.
I feel like I heard that. And so
you feel like you heard that right now. Both Abby and Scott use the words IQ test, right? Both Abby and Scott said this is an IQ test, right? But only when Scott uses the word, that's when he started to have feelings about it. You know what I mean? He feels deeply about this thing. And this is a huge noticeable issue. Just Pearly Things was not wrong. And noticing the female-minded nature of a lot of these guys, adult men who think as if women are writing their script. They speak as if women are writing their script.
So I just
You're
want to say
ridiculous.
something. This is what
It's
what it
ridiculous.
sounded like.
You want to make it
And
racial?
so-
Go ahead, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think that.
By the way,
there-
we know each
there
other
is
and
a-
we're friends. He's a smart
I
guy,
would- I
and we're
would
having a
love-
debate.
I would
We're having a
love to
debate.
finish
Don't
what I'm
don't make it
saying
into so we don't even
because
know each other, but we do.
This actually relates back to the topic that we're having, Scott. There is a you're sitting here with so much confidence.
Look at you with your tight sweater on. Bro came to CNN with his tight sweater so you could look at his muscles. He really came to CNN so everybody could know he a gym bro. Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. Look at all the feelings you got. All these muscles, and all you do is feel things. Nigga is muscular feelings. He got muscular feelings, y'all. He got on his national TV sweater. This is why I kind of like spiritually, I kind of felt where Just Pearly Things was coming from. Because a lot of you dudes don't even understand how you look anymore. Like the projection is just crazy now. When you really stop and look at it, the feminine bicep is nasty work. Yeah, even your muscles are feminine. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just Pearly Things was on to something, man. You dudes got a weird psychological block, bro. There's a weird mental block going on here, man. I wish freedom for all of you dudes, bro. I really do.
Without seeing all of the documents that Donald Trump is innocent, there is a presumption of guilt that a Black man walks around the United States with, that I have been watching Donald Trump navigate this situation with the presumption of innocence that is never afforded to.
Now Donald Trump, well, they're not treating Trump like a Black man. You know, dude, what do you even mean? You had to go and make this a whole weird race thing now. If Trump was a Black man, he wouldn't be treated like this.
Walks around the United States sitting here with so much confidence without seeing all of the documents that Donald Trump is innocent. There is a presumption of guilt that a Black man walks around the United States with, that I have been watching Donald Trump navigate this situation with the presumption of innocence that is never afforded to us, right? This is the same guy that is trailing 29 rape allegations. And we have videos of him saying things like, grab him by the you-know-what. Just the very fact that he's connected to the country's most egregious pedophile, enough, that fact.
Well, doesn't Stacey have even more connection to the egregious Jeffrey? Doesn't Ms. Plaskett, a sitting member of the federal government, have an even deeper, stronger connection? How many late night chit chats did her and Jeffrey have? How many times did Jeffrey sit by the fire drinking a glass of white wine, texting Plaskett about, his dreams and his visions, his plan for the future. How many times did that happen?
Alone is enough for us to ask questions about if it's a disqualifying factor for leadership. So I just don't know why you're so fervent right now, saying that I know for a fact he has nothing. Can we see the files and make that decision? Scott?
Look, here's what I think. It's been going on for 10 years. If there was a shred of anything to know about Donald Trump, we would already know it. What do we know? We know
absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
We know that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein, and we know that he excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago and his life. We also know that after Epstein was convicted, that powerful Democrats continued to stay in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. This is not a story about Trump. It is a story about powerful men. Many of them are in the Democratic Party. We're going to find that out. You can't wash away the politics.
We got to hit pause on this conversation.
Republican versus Democrat.
That's because every Democrat goes on TV and accuses Trump of having done something
any of these
untoward.
files, by the way.
And so now everybody's we're forming up Team Voltron here. We got to form up Voltron, y'all.
You talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring.
So hold up. Those people are not connected to Jeffrey Epstein at all? You just threw that out there?
He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record?
No freaking relation, you genius. Oh my God. You see, shout out to Black Girl Magic.
On the people that
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen, because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein. So at least I wasn't trying to mislead people. Now, have I dug in to find out who this doctor is? I have not. So I will trust and take what he says is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody. I literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
A registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. When you search FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do, I texted them and I said, listen, we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't the convicted sex trafficker.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just doing a quick search on FEC. So number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein, because I knew that we would need more time to really dig in.
Wow. Remember what I told you guys about the spirit of simping, man? Once you get that spirit of simping in you, you'll do almost anything. It'll take you to places you never knew you'd want to be.
Stacey Plaskett after this controversy emerged?
I have not.
Can you confirm if there was a deal last night to sink the resolution against Congressman Plaskett in exchange for not bringing us into resolution?
We've made clear repeatedly we're not going to unilaterally disarm.
So you're saying there was no deal?
I'm saying we will not unilaterally disarm. Not now, not ever.
Why wouldn't you speak to Stacey Plaskett?
I said I haven't spoken to her since the Central Resolution went down.
No, about this text controversy.
I have not spoken to her since the Central Resolution went down.
Have you talked to her about this text controversy?
She and I have talked, and it's a private conversation that will remain private.
One thing, have you spoken to Stacey Plaskett after this controversy emerged?
Everybody's circling the wagons, man.
For being here. Obviously, a lot of movement up on Capitol Hill today. And you heard Stacey Plaskett there. She was arguing her texts with Jeffrey Epstein were not illegal. But in your view, were they appropriate?
Well, Stacey Plaskett is not accused of violating any House rule, any law, any statute. And she's clearly and unequivocally denounced Jeffrey Epstein. And I think what the survivors fought for today is the type of transparency that came out of the House, went through the Senate, and is now on its way to Donald Trump's desk, where hopefully he'll sign it into law. Because at the end of the day, all the American people are asking for is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which is why these Epstein files that Donald Trump and his administration has been hiding for months need to be released.
But do you think it was appropriate for her to be texting with Jeffrey Epstein 11 years after he pleaded guilty?
I mean, I have not had a conversation with Stacey Plaskett to discuss this issue because we've been.
Yeah, but what do you think? Notice the dodge, right? Everybody dodging. Everybody sidestepping the issue. I'm telling you, this is just like Black YouTube, y'all. If you've actually watched Black YouTube, you understand how Black politicians think and operate and behave.
Focused today on making sure that there was a decisive vote as it related to the Epstein files and the release. I'm thankful for the work of Representative Massey, of Ro Khanna, but most importantly, the survivors.
Do you plan to talk to her about it?
I think that we successfully defeated a resolution that lacked any basis, was not credible, and was being brought by an individual who was trying to weaponize this issue to reinvigorate his own failed gubernatorial campaign in South Carolina. It was rejected on a bipartisan basis on the floor today. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, I was just asking if you personally believe messaging with Jeffrey Epstein, who is at that point a registered.
Ooh, come on, man. He was a criminal, y'all. Why was she conversing with a known criminal? Did she think it was hot?
I want to put something on the table that I thought what Representative Ro Khanna said today, Abby, that I found very disturbing when he was talking about this is not what our country's founded on. It actually is. There's another president by the name of Thomas Jefferson who raped 14-year-old Sally Hemings. He was 40 years old. So what we're talking about right now has been going on, not just the thousands of women you're talking about in high school, it's been going on since the beginning of time with powerful men who have taken advantage of young girls and then tried to make it be a love story. So no, I don't think innocent people should have their name disparaged. What I'm trying to tell you is the files are being released. So if you're in the file and you didn't do anything wrong, then yeah, lawyer up. Right. Because it's coming out and people need to know what's going on.
Let me let Josh get a word and then you can.
I want to put something on the table that I thought would roll.
You see what I mean? It is a damn panel, Carmen. It is a YouTube panel. What does Thomas Jefferson and that Hemings girl, what does that have to do with anything? Why are we even bringing? Look at Scott. You know who should interview Scott? I got the perfect interview. Hey, Pearly, just Pearly Things. I got a great idea for you. I want you to interview Scott about his experience dealing with all of the pro-blackness on CNN. Just Pearly Things needs to reach out to Scott and ask him about his experience arguing and debating with the pro-blacks up there. Because I guarantee you, if they traded notes, they would have similar observations, bro. I'm telling you. If they traded notes, they would have very similar observations. Like, Scott has that face that just knows. He has to be polite, you know. We gotta do our thing. We gotta keep the algorithm happy. Everybody has to pretend like they don't know as much as they really know.
Toby be good nigga for massa. Good nigga. Don't send Toby away.
Everybody has to just pretend like we don't notice all the things we notice. We don't have all the pattern recognition that we have. And you just got to make that face, man. You just got to make the face. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on. Really? Really? And then now we got the Congressional
Mr. Speaker, I rise today
Defense
on
Force right
behalf of
here.
the Congressional Black Caucus, the conscience of the Congress, in strong
The
opposition.
Congressional Black Caucus, the conscience of the Congress. Okay, all right. Let me think this out loud, all right? The conscience of the Congress, right? You are the conscience, right? You are like the inner morality of the Congress, right? Let me think that out real quick. The conscience of the Congress, y'all.
How do it equivalate?
You are the conscience of the Congress. So you are the line of morality.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today on behalf of the Congressional Black Caucus, the conscience of the Congress, in strong opposition to this resolution. This resolution is a blatantly partisan, shameless attack. As we sit here today, Donald Trump is still the single person in this country with the authority and the ability to deliver justice to survivors and truth to the American people by just releasing the files. So instead of answering why Donald Trump chooses every single day not to release the Epstein files, they're pointing fingers at this side of the aisle.
If you are the conscience of the Congress, how do you equivalate that? Literally, how does it equivalate with one of your members having a conversation with a known criminal? He was a known criminal, right? People, you knew you were a federal member of Congress, so it's not like it was kept from you. You would have known this because it was in. He's a constituent of yours. It was kind of a scandal, and it's hard for me to not believe that you had no idea, right? I'm shocked and appalled, I tell you, shocked and appalled. But how does that equivalate with being the conscience of the Congress, though? What's up with your conscience, man? Is you cool? Is your conscience cool?
Mr. Speaker, unlike the president, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett has committed no crime, violated no rule, and broken no promises. There has been no investigation, no due process, no inquiry into whether the Congresswoman had any connection whatsoever to Epstein's despicable and disgusting criminal conduct. This resolution would have us remove a capable and hardworking member of one of the most serious working committees in this body on the basis of a conversation from more than 6 years ago, which broke no rules, and has no connection to any criminal activity. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this partisan resolution, this sham, and I yield back.
Notice she got on her American flag scarf, man. Now all of a sudden you pro-America. It's crazy now. Now all of a sudden you literally wrapping yourself in the flag. Peep the game, y'all. She got on her American flag scarf right now. Literally wrapped in the flag, y'all. Wrapped in the flag.
Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day. Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching. As Michael Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise. And at the beginning of that hearing, the ranking member, Jim Jordan, had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down. And I turned.
Notice who is appearing directly behind Ms. Plaskett as she's on camera. You know this whole thing is highly curated, right? The matriarchy, okay? A wall, a literal wall of angry Black women. Just look at the image. Middle-aged, slightly overweight, bitterly angry. The Four Horsemen, the Great Wall of Keisha. Yeah, bro, this is the matriarchy. And when I tell you niggas, Keisha is the system, bro. Like, how, what do you think I'm talking about here? When they tell you as a black man, you got to go down, you got to go against the system, you got to fight the power. We're looking at the power, y'all. This is the power. This is what you're up against right here. You thought it was an angry white man? You thought it was Bubba standing in your way? You thought Bubba was stopping you? Nope. Nope.
To Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up. And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing. And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation.
No, it wasn't federal investigation. He was already convicted. He had already been convicted. That is a whole other thing going on. He was in federal investigation for the stuff that he just got caught with before he killed himself. But he was already convicted when you were talking to him. And you know what? Let's leave this for a minute. Let me show you guys something here. You know, speaking of the timeline, someone on Twitter here put a timeline of events together to highlight why this is such an interesting exposure for Ms. Plaskett here. In the summer of 2016, a sex tape along with explicit photos of Rep. Stacey Plaskett leaks, right? On July 21st, 2016, Plaskett publicly admits that nude photos and a private family video were illegally taken and leaked from her home. Family video is a crazy euphemism, y'all. Whoa. I have never heard family video used that way. Like, would that tape be on America's Funniest Home Videos? What do you mean family video? Is this something like Bob Saget would have been reviewing back in the day? What do you mean a family video? That is the craziest euphemism ever. A family video. Do you think Pornhub would be considered a repository of family videos? Like, what are we even doing with the English language anymore, bro? What are we even doing with words anymore? A home video? Really? Not a home video. Of all the things we would call it, a home video. This is really incredible. I'm like, we are really stretching all possible definition. Like, it's almost like the language ain't even language anymore. The words don't even mean what they're supposed to mean anymore.
How do it equivalate?
Okay. The damage was done. The scandal was out. August 4th, 2016, Epstein strikes. Just 14 days after her private video becomes public news, Jeffrey, a registered offender since 2008, maxes a $2,700 donation to her campaign. So he making it rain. He was like, "Oh, hey, Ms. Plaskett, I seen them titties, man. I heard you having problems, man. I heard you having problems. I seen them titties and I heard you need help. Let me just drop a $2,700 max dono. Let me get you through these struggling times." She knew exactly who he was. He knew exactly what just happened to her, and she still took the check. 2016 to 2020, the money pipeline. Plaskett doesn't just take one check. She accepts over $34,000 in total from Jeffrey, his attorney, his accountant, his foundations, and his inner circle. So they were all collectively making it rain. They were all collectively making it rain. She was in a bind, Nate. You know how it is. She was in a bind. And Nate, you know, played by Jeffrey in this movie, Nate was like, all right, Stace, this is what I'm going to do, Stace. Come down to the club. Come down to the club. You throw that ass in the circle, and me and my team, we're going to make it rain on you, all right? That was the deal, right? Come down to the club, throw that ass in a circle, and me and my team, we're going to make it rain on you. And that's really kind of what happened there, according to this guy posting his timeline on Twitter, right? This isn't one donation. This is a pattern. In 2019, she only backtracks when the world watches, when Epstein is arrested again in July 2019 on federal child charges. Only then does Plaskett donate an equivalent amount to charity, not before, not after her own scandal, only when the public heat gets too hot. The real story, and they know it. The video was public before Epstein donated. Epstein donated right after the scandal broke. His offender status was public since 2008. She still accepted his money. She only distanced herself when Epstein became politically toxic in 2019. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't an accident. This is a timeline pattern. July 2016, the video leaks. 2016, Max Dono, over $34K from Epstein and his network. 2019, after the federal arrest, she suddenly donates money. An offender funding a politician 14 days after her video leaks, a politician taking his money, knowing exactly who he was. And now the text messaging. And this is a photo. I'm not going to show you the rest. I'm not going to show you the rest. But yeah, Stacey was shout out to Stacey, y'all. Let me just say that, you know. Shout out to Stacey. Big Stacey, y'all. Big Stacey, y'all.
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the Black community? And
I liked it better with the long hair.
Information with me.
I liked you better with the long hair. With the long hair and the long, you were better. You were better. Anyway.
Now, I heard recently from someone that I was seeking advice from him. Let me tell you something. I don't need to get advice on how to question anybody from any individual. I have been a lawyer for 30 years. I have been a narcotics prosecutor in New York City. I have had the honor of being a political appointee at the Justice Department after September 11th as a Republican appointee in the Bush administration. I know how to question individuals.
She knows how to question individuals. Okay, so if you didn't need Jeffrey's help, why were you talking to Jeffrey during business hours, right? It's not like you were just late at night alone in your bed texting at 3 a.m. You know, we've seen that before. I can understand that. You were texting him during business hours. What's up with that?
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, you know, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
What's up with that? What's up with that?
I know how to seek information. I have sought information from confidential informants, from murderers, from other individuals, because I want the truth, not because I need them to tell me what to say. And if you look at the transcript, you will see that I questioned Michael Cohen for 5 minutes. The Washington Post only shows you 30 seconds and takes from it one individual's name that I got from Jeffrey Epstein and didn't know who the individual was. and put that individual with a host of other individuals that I felt.
Why were you texting him during the hearing though? Like, can we like really get a timeline on that? Why did he know that he could text you during the hearings and you would like respond to him? Why is he not calling your office? Why is he texting you directly on a personal phone and you're responding to him? I get text messages every now and then. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna respond to that. I don't know what that is. I don't know who you are. Every now and then, like, why did you respond? So you took time out of your day during a big, important public meeting to have a back and forth conversation with Jeffrey, texting him about work, no less, right? It's not like, you know, what are you wearing? Like, he was watching you on television, questioning you, like, why your mouth moving like that? Are you chewing? Are you eating something? Stop that shit. You look goofy. You out here representing me. Stop chewing like that. Like, he was asking you very casual, like, I know you personally questions, right? The way Jeffrey talked to her, Jeffrey texts her like a man who's seen those titties, y'all. I don't know how else to think about it. Jeffrey was texting her with the ease and the casualness of a man who's seen those titties. And listen, it would not surprise me if we pulled up them files and she had even more problems come out. Because he was texting you way too comfortably. It wasn't even like, hey, look, can you do me a solid? Like, I don't like how they trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit crazy for me. I need you to do me a little quick one, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't trying to come at it with no, no equality, no levity. It was like, hey, yo, why your mouth moving like that? What's going on? Tighten up. We got shit to do here. You look crazy right now. Like, he was talking to her on some pimps up, hoes down shit. Like, the way he came at her, what do you mean? What do you mean? He knows you. I bet you he knows your bra size. I wonder if he sent you lingerie.
The committee should subpoena. They've never been subpoenaed. They've never been questioned. Because at the end of the day, I know that in the Trump administration and with my colleagues over there, it's not about sexual assault. It's not about support of victims. It's about money. It is about money. I have consistently stood against sexual violence and the exploitation of women and children in previous careers, as well as here in this body. We all know that Jeffrey Epstein's actions were absolutely reprehensible. As a constituent, as an individual who gave donations to me, when I learned of the extent of his actions after his investigation, I gave that money to women's organizations in my community. Not back to him, but to women in the community.
Now, remember, we already went over the timeline, right? She took multiple donations from multiple people in the Epstein orbit. After his initial conviction, right? He had already been publicly convicted. It wasn't a secret at that point that he had been convicted of diddling. He was a known diddler when you took the first dime. And then honestly, the whole thing kind of looks it looks very much like a high-level plot. Think about how this works, right? Your private photos get leaked. Now you're in a politically vulnerable position. And this man who just happens to be a constituent of yours, who might need high-level congressional help, he comes to you in this all of a sudden moment of need that you have and starts making it rain on you. Next thing you know, you on camera grandstanding as a strong Black woman.
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the Black community?
I'm just wondering how close this, are you closer than close, man? How close is your relationship? Did you get closer than just text messages at 3 a.m.? How many messages did you share? Because that can't be the first time that he would ever text you. For him to just text you like that he texted you with a level of familiarity that only pimps have with hoes. Like, the way he texted you, that was crazy. That can't be the first time you just took a text from Epstein and he like, hey, why you looking like that? What's good? What's good? I don't be sending you out there on a stroll looking like that. None of my hoes on the blade look like that. And look at the wall of Keisha behind her, bro. Look at the wall of Keisha behind her. Like, that face, homegirl in the blue, homegirl in the pink. They make me a little bit nervous. I ain't even gonna lie. They are intimidating. Those some scary looking women right there. Those are some intimidating looking broads right there, bro.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
A Black woman's highest shame being brought up to congressional testimony. We are not supposed to have a congressional hearing about Black women's connection to the criminal world. We are not supposed to be in Congress talking about Black female dating culture. When you find out your 4 girlfriends started talking to each other. That should happen to me one time at a party, too. I was in high school. It was a long time ago. It was only 2 of them, but awkward.
Who needed that support. That's what I think should have been done, and that's what I did. They've taken a text exchange which shows no participation, no assistance, no involvement in any illegal activity, and weaponized it for political theater, because that's what this is. This has been reviewed by federal courts. Any charges, victims who initially had a case against me dismissed it on their own without prejudice. You don't.
Whoa. What was that about?
This has been reviewed by federal courts. Any charges, victims who initially had a case against me dismissed it on their own without prejudice.
You got caught up in the Epstein case? Nobody told me there was a Keisha caught up in the Epstein case. What happened?
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
She got caught up in the Epstein case, y'all.
Because that's what this is. This has been reviewed by federal courts. Any charges, victims who initially had a case against me dismissed it on their own without prejudice. You don't want to talk about what is really happening here. Your attacks on working families, your protection of powerful predators and corporate criminals. You want to talk about texting felons. How often do you text President Donald J. Trump?
Freeman's Journal, that's a low blow, Freeman. Freeman's Journal, that we did not need that. That was like an elbow in the ribs, man. Not even a Latina in sight. Oh, man, come on. That was like an elbow in the ribs, man. Damn. I didn't even notice until you noticed, bro.
That's the individual we should be concerned about. And let me.
Speaking of Latinas, bro, what was her name? Luna Paulina? She was pissed, bro. She was pissed after the hearing when it failed. She was like, oh, how y'all gonna let this one go? The one Latina, that girl Luna, Anna Paulina, whatever her name is, she was livid. She said, oh, you just gonna let Keisha rock like that? That's crazy. Y'all just gonna let Keisha fly? Y'all gonna do a backroom deal so Keisha could get off? Bro, she was not having it. She was about to start cursing in Spanish, bro. It was wild. It was nasty business, bro. Nasty work.
To get together and you ask the questions.
And I understand you're saying, look, he was a constituent, right? And whether or not they're good or bad, you're just trying to get information to get to the truth. But at this time, this was happening after he had already pleaded guilty to state prostitution charges. And then there was that Miami Herald article that came out in 2018 detailing how widespread the sexual abuse was, interviewing 80 women who said that he sexually abused her. So abused them, I should say. So I'm wondering, as you look back, do you think that it was an error in judgment to be communicating with him at all? Do you have any regrets?
Well, listen, I think Jeffrey Epstein is a reprehensible person. Absolutely disgusting. I lived in a house during childhood with a mother who had been sexually abused by her dad. And I know the effect that.
Oh, now you're going to play the victim card here. She's the real victim, all right? She is the one who knows pain and struggling. Shout out to Dick Thug with the 5-ball. Hood, you know your past kind of worked on your baby mama. I'm not saying it did or didn't, but I do have 3 children. Most dudes don't.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
Had on her as well as us as her family. And so I understand what the victims are going through, and I want them to get their their justice, their peace out of this. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein had information, and I was going to get information to get at the truth. Having a friendship with him is not something that I would deem to have. And so I'm just looking forward. I'm moving.
How did he get your number? How did he have your personal number, and why would you talk to him anyway? Like, is anybody going to ask her those 2 direct questions? Why does he have your personal number? Why would you talk to him? Why are you communicating with him directly during a congressional hearing? Can we get those 2 questions? Like, nobody wants to ask those 2 questions. Those are the most basic questions to ask, right?
People should do is move forward. If individuals are not involved in illegal activity, extending his criminal enterprise or his financial enterprise or all of those things, I think that we need to look at what people are doing moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes. And as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can. I've interviewed confidential informants. I've interviewed narcotics, drug traffickers and others. And that doesn't mean that I'm their friend. That doesn't mean that they.
Oh, it was an interview. She was having a long criminal interview with she was pumping Jeffrey for information, y'all. She was pumping him for information. She was trying to get that knowledge. She was trying to get that knowledge, y'all. She said, I was interviewing him like a criminal. I've interviewed a bunch of criminals. She was trying to pump him for information, y'all. She was going undercover. You know what? You got to do anything you got to do to get that knowledge, right? She was going to get to the bottom of it no matter how many times she landed on her back. She was going to get to the bottom of it. She was trying to honeypot Jeffrey. That's what it was. She was like, hey, Jeffrey, stare into my chest and tell me everything you know. Look at my boobies and tell me all your secrets, Jeffrey. She was really trying to get knowledge. She was really working. She was a Fed. That's what she's trying. She wants us to believe she was actually a Fed. She was working for the government, trying to honeypot Jeffrey. She knows that he knows where the bodies are, and she's going to get him to talk. She's like the closer. She was going to make him talk.
Moving forward.
Wait, let me just better understand that. What is that point? Because at the time he was a known sex offender and it had been detailed all the sexual abuse.
There are a lot of people who have done a lot of crimes. And as a prosecutor, you get information from people where you can. I've interviewed confidential informants. I've interviewed narcotics, drug traffickers and others. And that doesn't mean that I'm their friend. That doesn't mean that they are friendly with me. it means that they have information that I need and that I'm trying to get at the truth. And that's what I did.
So no regrets, basically, is what you're saying.
I'm moving forward.
Well, before I let you go, Congresswoman, and I call you Congresswoman, you're a non-voting delegate.
Well, limited
but
voting.
You're in.
I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward. That's what you say when your baby daddy goes to jail and he never comes home. I'm moving forward. That's what you say when your boyfriend get caught with a bunch of bricks in the trunk and a chopper in the passenger seat. I'm moving forward.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
Oh man, that was a perfect moment for Just Pearly Things, talking about women's love for criminals. And then the one girl, Jazz, was like, "What do you mean women love criminals?" And then Pearl was like, "What do you mean, Keisha?" Especially in the Black community. And then we got Stacey Plaskett getting put on congressional trial here. And they had to make a whole deal to keep her from getting caught up. They had to make a whole deal to stop her from getting caught up with Jeffrey Epstein, because some Republican guy, like I said, he had a girlfriend and a wife. And you know that type of drama. You know you get caught up in that. It's bad for you. And they made a deal to save him. They just couldn't let him go. Just couldn't let him go. He out here trying to get information from Epstein.
Together, and you ask the questions.
And I understand you're saying, look, he was a constituent, right? And whether or not they're good or bad, you're just trying to get information to get to the truth. But at this time, this was happening after he had already pleaded guilty to state prostitution charges. And then there was that Miami Herald article that came out in 2018 detailing how widespread the sexual abuse was, interviewing 80 women who said that he sexually abused her. So, abused them, I should say. So I'm wondering, as you look back, do you think that it was an error in judgment to be communicating with him at all? Do you have any regrets?
Well, listen, I think
they don't ask why he has your number, though. Like, that is the most important question of all. It's one thing, like anybody can text with their congressman right now. You can call your congressman's office, right? Leave a message. You can write her a letter. But it would go straight to her office, though. It wouldn't just be like texting her directly, like her phone buzzes. She's like, "Oh, that's Jeffrey. Let me answer the call."
Jeffrey Epstein is a reprehensible person, absolutely disgusting. I lived in a house during childhood with a mother who had been sexually abused by her dad.
And now you're going to hide behind the very victims. Think about that. Jeffrey is accused of victimizing all these women. And now you're going to hide behind victimized women. That's nasty work, really. Is that what they mean by black girl magic? I'm going to hide behind the victims. Wait, I got to pull up her full testimony. Hold on a minute. We got to pull up her full testimony here. Let me see if I can get this really quickly.
Highlands, Representative Plaskett.
Thank you so much to Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day. Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching. As Michael Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise. And at the beginning of that hearing, the ranking member, Jim Jordan, had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down. And I turned to Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up. And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing. And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time.
How did he get your personal number though? Like not that it's impossible, right? You know, he got his ways, right? But he got your personal number. You didn't think that was weird? You didn't think it was weird that he was texting you personally directly? Like, how did you get my number, right? That's the first question you would ask a person. Like, you texted me randomly. You're this known guy. You've been convicted already. Why do you have my number?
That he was under federal investigation and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently from someone that I was taking advice from him.
Now, hold up. He was sharing information with you?
And that he was under federal, who was not public knowledge at that time, that he was under federal investigation, and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently from someone that I was taking advice from him.
He was sharing information with her. What information? I'm sorry. What information did he share with you? How do you let a thing like that out and then everybody just ignores that? What information was he sharing? Why would he share information with you? He's already been convicted of one crime. He's currently under investigation. He may not really know that, but he's under investigation for another crime. Why would he just pick you? You know what, Stacey? I like the cut of your bra. Let me tell you about my vast child trafficking network.
Let me tell you something. I don't need to get advice on how to question anybody from any individual. I have been a lawyer for 30 years. I have been a narcotics prosecutor in New York City. I have had the honor of being a political appointee at the Justice Department after September 11th as a Republican appointee in the Bush administration. I know how to question individuals. I know how to seek information. I have sought information from confidential informants, from murderers, from other individuals, because I want the truth, not because I need them to tell me what to say. And if you look at the transcript, you will see that I questioned Michael Cohen for 5 minutes. The Washington Post only shows you 30 seconds and takes from it one individual's name that I got from Jeffrey Epstein and didn't know who the individual was, and put that individual with a host of other individuals that I felt the committee should subpoena. They've never been subpoenaed. They've never been questioned. Because at the end of the day, I know that in the Trump administration and with my colleagues over there, it's not about sexual assault. It's not about support of victims. It's about money. It is about money. I have consistently stood against sexual violence and the exploitation of women and children in previous careers, as well as here in this body. We all know that Jeffrey Epstein's actions were absolutely reprehensible. As a constituent, as an individual who gave donations to me, when I learned of the extent of his actions after his investigation, I gave that money to women's organizations in my community. Not back to him, but to women in the community who needed that support. That's what I think should have been done, and that's what I did. They've taken a text exchange which shows no participation, no assistance, no involvement in any illegal activity, and weaponized it for political theater.
The simplest questions are the toughest, aren't they? Why do you exchange information with Jeffrey? Like during a congressional hearing, you're communicating with a known trafficker. You don't think that's just a bit odd? You couldn't text him after work. You couldn't text him when you got home. You had to text him during business hours. Why do they all have these big, nasty glasses on? It's like a weird trend. It's such an odd visual. Think about this for a minute. You know how like the Stepford Wives kind of have this weird sort of domesticated perfection kind of look? This is like the anti-Stepford Wives. Like you could choose like a Stepford wife, or you could choose like a Keisha. This is a really weird opposite kind of parallel dimensions. Like I feel like I'm staring at a painting, trying to figure out the meaning of it in honor of bell hooks. Yo, this could be artwork, bro. This could be a painting. I call it the Wall of Keisha. They make such an interesting look. They're all middle-aged, slightly overweight. I mean, Plaskett is the only one maybe kind of within the bounds, but the rest of them are slightly overweight to just clearly overweight. And they all have these weird glasses, and they're all like visibly angry. The Fall of Keisha 2025. Interesting. The Fall of Keisha.
Because that's what this is. This has been reviewed by federal courts. Any charges, victims who initially had a case against me dismissed it on their own without prejudice. You don't want to talk about what is really happening here. Your attacks on working families, your protection of powerful predators.
Not your attacks on working families. You know, working families is her thing, right?
How dare you say that we are not interested in families in the Black community? And corporate criminals, you want to talk about texting felons? How often do you text President Donald J. Trump?
How often do you text Jeffrey? What other text exchanges did you have with him? That is not the first time, even by your own admission, that is not the first time you've texted with Jeffrey. So what other exchanges did you have with him? And shout out to Chocolate Bunny, gifting 1 membership over here. We're going to do a little bit of a rebrand over here, y'all. Don't mind me as we go under some new construction here. We're gonna change a lot of things around over here going forward. But shout out to Chocolate Bunny. Appreciate your support. give them one active membership to the, we're not even going to be the church anymore. I'm going to think of something. We might be, I don't know.
None of these niggas have motion except for me. There has to be one real nigga left in America, in this damn country.
But shout out to Chocolate Bunny. Appreciate you guys coming out.
That's the individual we should be concerned about. And let me tell you this. I am not going to support the wealthy and connected who continue to exploit workers and evade taxes, powerful figures with credible allegations who face no consequences, and corporate interests profiting from human suffering while families struggle. And let me tell the people of the Virgin Islands.
Gentleman will state his point of order.
The point of order is you may not call the President of the United States a felon.
You may not call the President of the United States a felon. You are the one who is knowingly engaged with felons, ma'am. You may not call the President of the United States a felon.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
That is a violation.
Gentleman's point of order is under consideration, and we're not going to lose order here either. So please.
May I continue? May I continue, Mr.
Members
Speaker?
are, however, reminded to refrain, as mentioned a little while ago, from making personality commentary towards the president. The point of order is not timely, so the gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What is happening here? I feel sorry for my colleagues. I feel sorry for this body. I see members coming and speaking against me who I've never even had a conversation with. You don't know me. You don't know the work that I've done.
You don't know me. You don't know my struggle.
But does anyone see that? No. Does anyone care about that? No. All they see is an aggressive Black girl talking.
You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my heart.
You don't know the support that I've given to families, to individuals, to support people. I worked a full-time job with children under the age of 5, going to school, law school at night. Do you think I would risk my law degree for any individual? Never mind a reprehensible individual by Jeffrey Epstein, I would not.
I mean, is it really that hard to imagine, though? Is it really that hard to imagine a woman would risk it all for a random criminal? I mean, would you be the first case ever of a woman just throwing it all away for a random criminal? Could that be the first time that we ever heard of a thing? I mean, really? Really? You want us to believe that that kind of thing just never happens? You would never, right? No. There's no way a woman would work that hard, go through all of that pain and sacrifice, and chuck it all away for a criminal? For a criminal. You would do all of that for a criminal? Nah. Women don't do that. Women never do anything like that. What do you mean? Women would never put in all of the years of effort. Women would never make all of the daily grinding sacrifices it takes to actually get a career in this world. A government job with lifelong benefits, no less, right? You would never, ever throw that all away for a criminal. For a criminal? Not for a criminal. Girls will never throw it all away for a criminal. You will never ever see.
Oh, I've never had this done before.
You will never ever see a sister, a strong black woman. You would never ever witness a strong black woman work hard, make her way in the world, finally get herself a nice career with benefits, with a retirement package, all that. You wouldn't throw that all away for a criminal. You would never. No, that she would. No, you know, it's hard to believe. It really is hard to believe. It's almost preposterous if you think about it.
Yeah, okay, ready? Let's go. Oh, I've never had this done before. Yeah. Well, I thought you guys were going to get it. Yeah, they are. Look, his arms are shaking us though.
I promise you, girl, there are a lot of things going to happen to you in that building that have never been done to you before. You are in the land of things that have never been done to you before, girl. I'll tell you, you haven't even imagined the things that could be done to you in that place, man. But you rock out, baby girl. You rock out. I'm happy that you're happy. Dreams come true every day in the United States prison industry. In the American prison industry and the American judicial system, dreams come true every day.
Yeah, okay, ready? Let's go. Oh, I've never had this done before. Yeah. Well, I thought you guys were going to get it. Yeah, they are. Look, his arms are shaking us though. It's not shaking. Curl me.
Down in the hood right there. That's like solo picture right there.
Curl me.
Oh, his legs are shaking.
Curl me, she said. Curl me. You ever been curled before? Once you get curled, there really is no going back. I got you. Once you get curled, though, there is no going back. There really is no going back.
Come on. Prison. Yeah, we kidnapped. Dude, we're about to get out of here because.
Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, ready? Let's go. Oh, I've never had this done before. Yeah. Well, I thought you guys were going to get it. Yeah, they are. Look, his arms are shaking us though. It's not shaking. Curl me.
Down in the hood right there. That's like solo picture right there.
Oh, his legs are shaking.
Come on. Prison. Yeah, we kidnapped. Dude, we're about to get out of here because.
The one Spanish nigga got to blow it up. You hear the one Spanish dude? We're about to get out of here, Holmes. We're about to get out of here. I thought Keisha's gonna free us, Holmes. It's one Spanish dude had to ruin it.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
But what I'm about is the truth. And let me tell the people of the Virgin Islands, this attempt at intimidation will pass. We in the Virgin Islands do not back down from a fight. That is how we won our freedom, and that is how we will continue to grow our equality. And if you censure me,
grow your equality. What do you grow? Equality for the Virgin Islands? What is that? She want to be a state now? What do you even mean equality for the Virgin Islands? What is that even about? What are you on about?
At intimidation will pass. We in the Virgin Islands do not back down from a fight. That is how we won our freedom, and that is how we will continue to grow our equality.
What do you mean? What freedom? I thought you were a territory of America. Hold up. How are you free and you a territory of America? What freedom are you talking about? The freedom that the American flag provides you? What does she even mean? What does she even mean, the freedom, bro? What freedom? How you in the United States Virgin Islands talking about we fought for our freedom? What do you even now you trying to see? Now you trying to do some Caribbean pro-black cosplay right here. This that shit that make niggas want to delineate. This that delineation talk you be on right now. What freedom are you talking about? Who did you fight for your freedom? Not America. We still own your country. It's literally a territory of America. It's called the United States Virgin Islands, right? Not Keisha's Virgin Island. It doesn't even belong to the islanders. It belongs to America. What do you mean?
And if you censure me, take away a committee, I will still do the work because I am here to support people and to support this great Constitution, which I have sworn numerous times to uphold.
Hey, shout out to my man Marshall with the $20 Venmo. Shout out to my man Marshall. It says, hoes mad, y'all.
Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad. Hoes mad.
Wait, also, hold on. I just saw another one come through there. Shout out to my man Dick Thug with the $2. Remember that Atlanta lawyer Courtney Cox? No, that one kind of, it sounds vaguely familiar though, but it wouldn't surprise me she got caught up in the game. Because I want to actually move on to one other lady before we close this down. She got caught up in the game too. But shout out to everybody that came through, keeping the support alive. Appreciate you guys coming through, supporting me in my time of need.
Hulk! Smash! Smash you! You make Hulk angry. You not like Hulk angry. Hulk no like fighting girls.
Right now. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Louis Aguirre.
And I'm Janice Fernandez. We want to get right to your top story tonight. Breaking news. A South Florida congresswoman indicted, accused of stealing millions of dollars in federal disaster funds and using the money to support her congressional campaign. Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick now facing federal charges.
She'd already been under investigation.
Oh, Sheila, she was stealing from the government. Oh, Sheila, she was stealing from the government.
By the House Ethics Committee this summer. We have team coverage of the indictment tonight. Local 10's DC Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy standing by with reaction from Washington. But we begin with Local 10's Aaron Mabin in Miramar with the charges. Aaron.
Janice and Louis, within the last hour, attorneys for the Congresswoman said they plan to fight to clear her name.
Everybody feels like they're under attack.
Tonight, a federal grand jury indicting Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick and several associates, accusing them of stealing millions in federal disaster funds, laundering the money, and using part of it to support her 2021 congressional campaign.
The money we invested was to make sure that we can touch the people in the community, but the money didn't determine this election because most people put a lot of money in the community, in their campaigns, they don't win.
Federal prosecutors say Sherfilis McCormick and her brother Edwin Sherfilis ran a FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract through their family healthcare company. Prosecutors say in July 2021, the company received a $5 million overpayment. Prosecutors say the group diverted that money and tried to hide it through multiple accounts. The indictment says a large portion of those funds was used for campaign contributions and personal expenses. Prosecutors allege the South Florida Democrat and Nadege LeBlanc arranged additional donations using straw donors, funneling money to friends and relatives who then donated to the campaign as if using their own money. Investigators say the Congresswoman, with the help of her tax preparer, David K. Spencer, filed a false federal tax return, allegedly disguising political spending and personal costs as business deductions. U.S. Attorney Jason Redding Quinones writing, "Public money belongs to the American people. When FEMA funds are diverted for personal or political gain, it erodes trust and harms us all." Attorneys for the Congresswoman writing, "She is a committed public servant who is dedicated to her constituents. We will fight to clear her good name." If convicted, the South Florida Congresswoman could face up to 53 years in prison. The co-defendants could also face decades behind bars. We're live in Miramar tonight. Aaron Maben, Local 10 News.
Aaron, thank you. Our team coverage now turns to Washington.
Our DC Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy is joining us live with the reaction. Ben.
Today, St. Louis, the Department of Justice says this action makes clear that no one is above the law and plan to prove.
Keisha is not above the law? What do you mean? What do you mean she's not above the law? How dare you?
But if man had to find out that his God was a woman,
I say the black woman is God, and
black woman is God.
I say the black woman is God.
The black woman is God because, you know, she was the first organism on this planet.
Shout out to Red Sigma with the $2. B-dubs destroy their own image and reputations, man. The worst two things that happen to the B-dub image: live streams and body cams. No, not live streams. Social media and body cams, y'all. The combination of social media and body cams have destroyed what was once a powerful, strong black reputation.
Their case in court. In a statement, Attorney General Pam Bondi said tonight, using disaster relief funds for self-enrichment is a particularly selfish, cynical crime. No one is above the law, least of all powerful people who rob taxpayers for personal gain. We will follow the facts in this case and deliver justice. With FBI Director Kash Patel adding, this individual and her family allegedly stole money from FEMA and then laundered it through friends towards her own personal benefits, including her campaign accounts. Today, the FBI and partners of the DOJ took action. Right now, Shirley McCormick serves on the House Committee of Foreign Affairs. It is also assigned to Veteran Affairs. In July, as Louis talked about at the top of the show, the House Ethics Committee voted to reauthorize an investigative subcommittee to examine allegations involving the South Florida Democratic lawmaker. On social media tonight, Florida Congressman Greg Steube said, tomorrow morning I will be filing a privilege motion to censure Representative Shirley McCormick and remove her from all committees. Tonight, back live here in D.C., she does remain an active member of Congress. In fact, she was reelected in 2024. Her current term ends in January 2027.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you for calling this hearing.
Wow. Freeman's Journal wanted to share a couple of things here with y'all. In keeping with the theme and all, since we're on the subject of criminality and whatnot.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
Okay,
especially in the black community, if we're going to be honest.
So there's a website called Black Girl Tragic, illuminating a national tragedy through stories that need to be heard. Courtney Cox, 31-year-old lawyer, gunned down in an Atlanta apartment. Was it a boyfriend? Police have not released the nature of Cox's relationship with Jared. Oh. Enough said. Enough said. What else we got here? Family at loss of words after woman killed inside Midtown apartment building. Courtney Cox, y'all.
A family is devastated after their daughter was found murdered at a Midtown apartment complex. Her alleged killer caused chaos early yesterday morning during a shootout with police. Officers say he later killed himself. And as Fox 5's Brian Hill reports, loved ones say the victim was dating the alleged gunman.
The family of 31-year-old Courtney Cox describe her as a beautiful soul who lit up every room she entered. Loved ones are now left devastated as they try to understand how her journey ended like this. This was the scene early Wednesday morning after Atlanta police arrived at the high-rise apartment building on Peachtree Street in Midtown. Police say 32-year-old Jarvis Jarrett shot and killed Cox inside Atlantic House Midtown sometime after 3 in the morning. Cox's family tells me she was in a relationship with him.
It appears that the suspect was inside the apartment. No forced entry or anything like that.
Police say Jerry then began firing a rifle at first responders from a balcony on the 21st floor. At one point, investigators say
Firing a rifle at first responders. He wanted to go out like Grand Theft Auto. He was going to get all his stars up. He was trying to get that 5-star.
Jumped from balcony to balcony, shooting inside and outside of the building, hitting several units.
As we were getting this information through 911, our dispatchers could still hear gunfire being played out throughout the building.
At least one officer returned fire. They found Jarrett dead on a balcony. The Paul Hastings law firm tells us Cox had been an associate with them since 2016. In a statement, they said in part, "We are deeply saddened by this tragedy, and we are focused on supporting Courtney's family and one another through this difficult time." They described her as a dear friend and colleague to their personnel in Atlanta and throughout the firm. In Midtown, Brian Hill, Fox 5 News.
Tragedy after tragedy.
Federal investigators have set up a staging site on the massive Florida Environmental Park in Northport. Yesterday, officials announced that they found partial human remains near a backpack and notebook.
Oh, no, that's something totally different. All right, never mind that one. But one more time, because, the girl wasn't exactly wrong here.
I mean, I've interviewed 1,000 people. A good chunk of them did, procreate and date men with felonies. That's not uncommon. So,
okay,
especially in the Black community, if we're going to be honest.
Hey, do me a favor, guys. Don't forget to follow me over on Rumble. I usually do some backup streaming on Rumble. Got to keep it alive over there. But I'm kind of under pressure right now. So just in case we all kind of have to double down on Rumble, don't forget to follow me on Rumble. And I'm gonna come back probably tomorrow afternoon or whatever with another show about the kids in Chicago. Actually, I was tempted to do the Chicago thing first, but we'll come back to that one. We'll come back. That Chicago thing is wild, man. The kids in Chicago jumped this girl, this mom and her children after getting picked up after school, and then the kids are now getting protested. The school's getting protested. It is a whole crazy deal, man.
God, where her mother at? Where this little girl mother at? Where they role models at? Where's the adults? That's the question we all trying to figure out.
But thank you guys for coming out. Hit that like button on your way out of here, guys. I'm about to hit the road. We got to go to work later on tonight. I will catch y'all on the next one, y'all. Thank you so much for coming through, supporting the show. Like I said, we're going to go through a little bit of a rebrand. Things I might have to work on over here. I will catch you guys, though. We'll be back for another one, man. Peace, y'all.
Aspiring to be patriarchs like what white men have, that isn't freedom. That isn't going to help anybody. It's certainly not going to help Black people.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.